the ground beneath me. It fractured, not with the tremor of an earthquake, not with the sudden violence of a storm. It splintered slowly, deliberately, each hairline crack a testament, a silent witness, to the breaking of something sacred, something I held with unwavering faith. There was a time. I offered my hand freely, without question, without the shadow of doubt that now clings to me like a shroud. I built bridges, not walls. I believed in the sanctity of connection, in the unbreakable bonds forged in trust. Foolish, wasn't I? They moved in the guise of allies, their smiles, their words, a carefully constructed deception. I welcomed them into my sanctuary, shared my vulnerabilities, laid bare my hopes and fears. And they watched, they waited, like predators circling their unsuspecting prey, the moment of betrayal. It wasn't a thunderclap. It was a whisper, a subtle shift in the air, a look, a word that didn't quite align, a dissonance that grew, slowly, insidiously, until the whole melody of our connection turned sour. The pain, it was a physical thing, a tearing, a ripping, as if something vital was being ripped away from my very core. It stole my breath, choked my voice, left me gasping in the sudden vacuum of their deceit. Days bled into nights, a blur of disbelief, of confusion. The questions echoed endlessly in the hollow chambers of my mind. Why? How could they? What had I done to deserve this violation? But in the silence, in the solitude of my anguish, something began to stir, a flicker of defiance, a refusal to be consumed by the darkness of their actions, the ashes of betrayal. They may have scorched me, but they also fertilized something new, something resilient. They thought their actions were an ending, a full stop. They believed they had extinguished my light. They were wrong, terribly wrong, for in the deepest darkness, the embers of my spirit began to glow with a different kind of heat, a heat forged in pain, tempered by solitude, fueled by the understanding of their true nature. This is not a tale of immediate fury, not a scream for vengeance in the heat of the moment. This is the quiet recounting, the measured acknowledgement of a wound that runs deep, and the slow, deliberate awakening that follows. They believed they had broken me. They mistook a moment of vulnerability for terminal weakness. They failed to see that the deepest wounds can often birth the most formidable strength. The silence they left in their wake, it is not emptiness. It is the space where a new resolve is hardening, where the blueprints of a different future are being drawn. A future where their influence holds no sway, where their opinions carry no weight, where their betrayal serves only as a stark reminder of the price of misplaced trust. I retreated into myself, not in defeat, but in strategic withdrawal, to assess the damage, to understand the enemy, to gather the fragments of what was lost, and forge them into something far more potent. Their memory, it will not fade, not as a source of lingering pain, but as a constant reminder of the lesson learned. A lesson etched in the deepest recesses of my being. Trust is a precious commodity, squandered by the faithless, and the consequences, they are not always immediate. Sometimes they are a slow burn, a creeping realization that dawns in the quiet hours, a shadow that lengthens with each passing day. They may believe they have moved on, unburdened by their actions. They may think that the chapter is closed, but they have underestimated the power of a wounded spirit that refuses to be extinguished. They have failed to account for the quiet determination that can bloom in the most desolate landscapes of the heart. This is the calm before a different kind of storm, one that gathers its strength in silence, one whose impact will be felt not in a sudden cataclysm, but in a gradual, inevitable shift in the balance of power. They will look back on their actions, and they will understand the true cost of their betrayal, not through my anger, not through my overt retaliation, but through the quiet, unyielding force of my transformation. The game they played, it is far from over. The board has merely been reset, and this time, I am playing by a different set of rules. Rules they will come to understand in time, when the consequences of their choices begin to unfold, slowly, deliberately, unstoppably. This is the first whisper of that unfolding, the quiet promise of a reckoning yet to come. A reckoning born not of rage, but of a cold, unwavering resolve. The ashes have settled, and from them, something new is stirring, something darker, something stronger, something that remembers every single detail. The initial shock, it fades not entirely. The scars remain, a permanent topography etched onto the landscape of my soul. But the raw, agonizing pain, it begins to transmute to something else, something harder, more focused. The endless replays in my mind, the what-ifs and the why-me's, they start to lose their power. The energy they consumed, it begins to be redirected, channeled, like a river that was once scattered, now finding a single determined course. I started to see their betrayal not as a reflection of my worth, but as a stark revelation of their character, their limitations, their capacity for deceit. It was a painful lesson, but a crucial one. It stripped away the illusions, the idealizations, leaving behind a clearer, albeit harsher, reality. The trust, once freely given, now lies shattered, irreparably broken, and in its place, a new awareness takes root, a hypervigilance, a keen understanding of the subtle signs, the unspoken cues that can betray hidden intentions. Solitude, which initially felt like a punishment, a consequence of their actions, became a sanctuary, a space for introspection, for rebuilding, away from the noise of their opinions, the toxicity of their presence. In the quiet, I began to hear my own voice again. A voice that had been drowned out by the clamor of their expectations, their manipulations, memories. They resurfaced, not just the sting of betrayal, but fragments of the past that now held new meaning. Subtle inconsistencies I had overlooked, warnings I had dismissed, the pieces of the puzzle, once scattered and confusing, began to click into place, revealing a pattern I had been too blind to see. The anger, it was there, a burning ember threatening to consume everything, but I learned to control it, to bank it, to use it as a fuel, rather than a destructive fire. It became a source of inner strength, a constant reminder of the injustice I had endured, and the resolve to ensure it would not define me. The desire for immediate retribution, the urge to lash out, to make them feel the same pain, it was strong. But a different strategy began to form in the quiet corners of my mind. A more patient approach, a more calculated response. Why offer them the satisfaction of seeing my rage? Why give them the validation of knowing their actions had broken me? My pain, my transformation, would be my silent weapon. My resilience, my quiet ascent, would be their most profound punishment. I started to observe, to learn, to understand the dynamics of their world, their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities, not with malice, but with a detached curiosity, like studying a flawed ecosystem. Understanding its fault lines, the focus shifted from dwelling on the past to building a future where my strength was self-derived, my validation internal. Their opinions, their judgments, they became irrelevant, noise in the periphery. The process was not linear. There were moments of doubt, of lingering sadness, times when the weight of the betrayal felt overwhelming. But each time, the nascent sense of inner power reasserted itself. The refusal to remain a victim grew stronger. I began to redefine myself, not in opposition to them, but in accordance with my own values, my own aspirations. The betrayal, in its twisted way, had cleared the canvas. It had forced me to confront who I truly was, and who I wanted to become. The connections that remained, they became deeper, more meaningful. The trust that was rebuilt, it was earned, not freely given. The lessons learned about discernment, about boundaries, they became invaluable. They may have thought they had diminished me, but in reality, they had inadvertently set me on a path of profound self-discovery. A path that led to a stronger, more self-aware, more resilient version of myself. The consequences of their actions, they would not be immediate fireworks. They would be a slow, dawning realization. A gradual understanding of what they had lost, the genuine connection they had severed, the respect they had forfeited. My silence, it would speak volumes. My absence, it would create a void. My quiet success, it would be a constant unspoken reminder of their failure. They may never fully comprehend the depth of their betrayal, but they will feel its impact. In the subtle shifts in the dynamics around them, in the growing distance, in the quiet respect I command from others, respect they once took for granted from me. This is not about seeking revenge in the traditional sense. It is about reclaiming power, rewriting the narrative, about demonstrating that betrayal is not an end, but sometimes a catalyst for a more powerful beginning. The energy that once fueled my pain, it is now directed towards growth, towards achievement, towards building a life that is impervious to their negativity. A life that stands as a testament to the strength that can be forged in the fires of adversity. They will see the outward signs of this transformation. The quiet confidence, the unwavering gaze, the absence of bitterness. And in that absence, they may begin to understand the depth of what they have lost. The consequences are not about inflicting pain upon them. They are about the natural repercussions of their choices. The erosion of trust, the loss of connection, the realization that their actions had a profound and lasting impact, not on breaking me, but on changing the entire dynamic. And as I continue to move forward, with purpose and with clarity, the distance between us will grow, not out of malice, but out of the simple fact that our paths no longer align, their world and mine are diverging. The silence that follows betrayal is not empty. It is pregnant with the potential for transformation. It is the space where strength is cultivated, where resolve is hardened, and where the foundation for a new and more authentic self is laid. They may have underestimated the resilience of the human spirit. They may have believed that their actions would leave me permanently broken, but they failed to see that sometimes the deepest wounds can lead to the most profound awakenings, and the consequences of their betrayal, they will be felt not in a single dramatic moment, but in the slow, steady, and undeniable progress of someone who refused to be defined by their pain, and instead chose to rise above it. This build-up is the quiet accumulation of strength. The internal shift from victim to survivor and beyond. It is the laying of the groundwork for the core message, the demonstration of the true consequences of betrayal. The focus remains internal, the transformation subtle yet profound. The warning to those who might betray is implicit in this journey of self-reclamation. The consequences are not something I actively seek to inflict, but the natural outcome of my growth and their actions. The silence continues, but it is no longer the silence of despair. It is the silence of focused energy, of a will being forged in the crucible of adversity. It is the quiet hum of a power that is steadily growing, and as this power solidifies, the true weight of their betrayal will become increasingly apparent, not through my words or actions directed at them, but through the undeniable evidence of my own strength and self-possession. The journey from the ashes is a slow and deliberate one. Each step forward is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and with each step, the consequences for those who ignited the fire become more and more evident in the growing distance, the unwavering resolve, and the quiet triumph of a spirit that refused to be broken. This is the quiet before the undeniable demonstration, the build-up of an inner strength that will serve as the most potent warning of all. Their betrayal was a catalyst, a painful one, yes, but a catalyst nonetheless. It stripped away the superficial. It revealed the essential. It forced a reckoning with the self. And in that reckoning, a stronger self emerged, a self that no longer seeks validation from those who proved untrustworthy, a self that finds its strength in its own internal compass. The consequences for them, they are witnessing the quiet ascent of someone they believe they had grounded. They are observing the unwavering progress of a spirit they thought they had extinguished. And in that observation may come the slow dawning of a profound regret. Not because of any direct action I take against them, but because of the undeniable evidence of the better path they chose not to take. The genuine connection they carelessly discarded, the respect they so easily squandered. My journey forward is the clearest consequence of their betrayal, a living testament to the fact that what doesn't destroy you truly does make you stronger, and that strength radiates its own silent warning. A warning to those who might underestimate the resilience of a wounded heart. A heart that can learn to beat stronger, independently, and with an unwavering rhythm that owes nothing to those who sought to break it. Let this be the core of understanding. The fundamental truth that echoes in the aftermath of broken trust. Betrayal is not an isolated incident. It is a stone thrown into a still pond. The ripples extend outward, affecting not only the immediate victim, but also the betrayer and the wider circle of connection. For those who choose the path of deception, who prioritize their own self-interest above the bonds of loyalty, understand the inherent consequences that are woven into the very fabric of that choice. You may believe that your actions are contained, that the damage is limited to the individual you deceive. You fail to recognize the corrosive nature of dishonesty. It erodes the very foundation of relationships. It breeds suspicion and doubt. It creates an atmosphere of unease that can permeate future interactions. The trust you so carelessly discard is a precious and fragile commodity. Once broken, it is exceedingly difficult to mend, and the shards that remain can inflict lasting wounds. Consider the internal cost to yourselves, the burden of maintaining a lie, the constant vigilance required to keep your stories straight, the gnawing discomfort of knowing that your actions are rooted in deceit. This internal dissonance, it takes a toll. It can manifest as anxiety, as guilt, as a growing sense of isolation. For true connection is built on honesty and vulnerability. And when you choose betrayal, you distance yourself from the possibility of genuine intimacy. The consequences may not be immediate. There may not be a dramatic confrontation or a swift retribution. But the erosion of trust is a slow and insidious process. It chips away at the respect others have for you. It diminishes your credibility. It can ultimately lead to a sense of alienation, as those who once trusted you begin to withdraw. Your actions speak volumes, even in the absence of direct confrontation. They communicate a disregard for the feelings and well-being of others. They reveal a fundamental flaw in character that others will note and remember. The world has a way of reflecting back the energy we put into it. And while you may believe that your betrayal is a clever manipulation, it ultimately creates a negative resonance that can impact your future interactions and opportunities. The consequences extend to your own sense of self-worth. Living a life built on deception can erode your own integrity. It can lead to a diminished sense of self-respect as you grapple with the knowledge of your own dishonesty. True power lies not in manipulation, but in authenticity and genuine connection. And betrayal is a direct contradiction of these principles, or the path of deception is a lonely one. It necessitates the construction of walls to keep your secrets safe. But these walls also serve to keep others out, preventing the formation of meaningful bonds based on truth and transparency. The consequences are not always about external punishment. Often, the most profound repercussions are internal, the quiet knowing that you have acted in a way that violates your own moral compass, the lingering unease that accompanies dishonesty, the potential for regret that can grow over time. Consider the example you set. Your betrayal can create a ripple effect, influencing the behavior of those around you. It can contribute to a climate of distrust and cynicism. And in a world where trust is increasingly fragile, such actions carry a significant weight. The consequences for the betrayed, they are undeniable. The pain, the confusion, the sense of violation. But as has been shown, this pain can also be a catalyst for growth and transformation. The betrayed may emerge stronger, more resilient, with a clearer understanding of their own boundaries and values, and this strength, this newfound self-possession, becomes a silent but powerful consequence for the betrayer. It demonstrates that your attempt to diminish them ultimately failed. It showcases the enduring power of the human spirit, and it serves as a constant reminder of the miscalculation you made. The consequences of betrayal are multifaceted and far-reaching. They affect the betrayed, the betrayer, and the wider web of relationships. They can be immediate and overt, or slow and insidious, but they are always present. They are the inevitable outcome of choosing deception over honesty, self-interest over loyalty, and disregard over respect. Let the transformation witnessed thus far serve as a clear demonstration. The initial pain gave way to introspection. The vulnerability hardened into resolve. The desire for revenge transmuted into a quiet determination to rise above the actions of the betrayer. And this ascent, this quiet triumph, is perhaps the most potent consequence of all. It is the living proof that betrayal does not break. It can forge. It does not diminish. It can empower. And it leaves the betrayer to witness the undeniable strength of the spirit they sought to undermine. The consequences are not something actively sought. They are the natural unfolding of a new reality created by the act of betrayal itself. A reality where trust is fractured, where connections are strained, and where the betrayed moves forward with a newfound sense of self-reliance. This is the core message. Betrayal has a cost that is paid not only by the victim, but also by the perpetrator. A cost that can manifest in myriad ways, both seen and unseen, and the ultimate consequence may be witnessing the quiet strength and undeniable progress of the one you sought to harm. A living testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to rise from the ashes of deceit, and in that silent ascent lies the most profound and lasting consequence of all. The game changes, the dynamics shift, the power balance subtly alters, and the betrayer is left to navigate a world where their word carries less weight. Their intentions are viewed with suspicion, and the one they betrayed stands taller, stronger, and undeniably free. Consider the long-term implications, the erosion of your social capital, the difficulty in forming new, genuine connections, the potential for your past actions to cast a shadow over your future endeavors. Trust is the bedrock of society, and those who violate that trust often find themselves increasingly isolated. The consequences are not always punitive. Sometimes they are simply the natural result of your choices, leading to a diminished quality of life, less fulfilling relationships, and a persistent undercurrent of unease. The act of betrayal reveals a fundamental lack of empathy. a failure to truly understand or value the feelings and perspectives of others. This lack of empathy can hinder your ability to connect with people on a deeper level, leading to a sense of superficiality in your interactions. The consequences can be a slow burn. Years may pass before the full weight of your actions becomes apparent, but the memories of betrayal linger. They can resurface unexpectedly, affecting future relationships and opportunities. The price of betrayal is often paid over time, in ways that are both tangible and intangible. It is a debt that accrues interest, and the final reckoning can be significant. The transformation of the betrayed individual serves as a constant living consequence. Their strength is a direct counterpoint to your weakness. Their integrity shines brighter against the backdrop of your deceit. Their success becomes a quiet indictment of your actions. And this silent narrative, it speaks volumes to those who observe. The consequences extend beyond the immediate circle. Witnessing an act of betrayal can create a climate of fear and distrust within a wider community. It can erode the bonds that hold people together, making it more difficult to build and maintain trust in the future. Your actions have a ripple effect, impacting not only the individual you betrayed, but also the broader social fabric. The consequences can be a loss of inner peace. The knowledge of your betrayal can create a persistent sense of guilt or shame that gnaws at your conscience. True peace of mind comes from living in alignment with your values, and betrayal is a direct violation of that alignment. The consequences can manifest as a diminished capacity for joy. The weight of your deception can cast a shadow over your positive experiences, making it difficult to fully embrace happiness. A life built on lies is a fragile foundation upon which to build lasting joy. The transformation of the betrayed individual is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It is a powerful reminder that even in the face of profound pain, growth and healing are possible. And this resilience, it stands as a direct consequence to those who sought to inflict harm. It demonstrates the ultimate failure of their destructive intentions. The consequences of betrayal are a stark reminder of the importance of integrity, of honesty, and of the profound impact our actions have on others. Choose wisely the path you take, for the echoes of betrayal can resonate for a lifetime. And the quiet strength of those you wrong may be the most powerful consequence of all. The final reckoning is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is simply the quiet realization that you have forfeited something invaluable, the genuine trust and respect of another human being. And that loss can be a profound and lasting consequence. The journey through the shadows of betrayal. It is a testament to the intricate and often unseen consequences that ripple outward from a single act of broken trust. What begins as a seemingly isolated choice, a personal transgression, unfolds into a complex web of repercussions, affecting not only the immediate parties involved, but also the broader landscape of human connection. We have witnessed the initial fracturing, the raw pain and disorientation that engulfs the betrayed. This is the immediate fallout, the visceral reaction to the violation of something held sacred. But this initial wound, while deep, is not the final chapter. It is merely the opening, salvo in a longer narrative of resilience and transformation. The build-up revealed the quiet hardening, the internal shift from victimhood to a burgeoning sense of self-reliance. In the solitude born of betrayal, a new strength is forged. The lessons learned, though painful, become the bedrock of a more discerning and self-protective spirit. The energy once consumed by anguish is redirected, channeled into personal growth and a quiet determination to not be defined by the actions of another. And in the core message, the true weight of the consequences begins to emerge. Betrayal is not a victimless crime. It carries a significant cost for all involved. For the betrayed, it necessitates a journey of healing and rebuilding, often leading to a stronger, more authentic self. For the betrayer, it entails a gradual erosion of trust, a potential for isolation, and the internal burden of their own dishonesty. The transformation of the betrayed individual, their quiet ascent from the ashes of deceit, serves as a potent and enduring consequence. It is a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a powerful counterpoint to the weakness inherent in the act of betrayal. Their strength, their integrity, their unwavering progress become a constant unspoken reminder of the betrayer's miscalculation. The consequences are not always dramatic or overt. Often, they manifest in subtle shifts in dynamics, in the widening distance between individuals, in the guarded interactions that replace genuine connection. The erosion of trust is a slow and insidious process, but its impact is profound and long-lasting. The act of betrayal reveals fundamental flaws in character, a lack of empathy, a prioritization of self-interest over loyalty, a disregard for the sanctity of human connection. These flaws, once exposed, can cast a long shadow, affecting future relationships and opportunities. The betrayer may find their credibility diminished, their motives questioned, and their ability to form deep and meaningful bonds significantly impaired. The internal cost to the betrayer should not be underestimated. The burden of maintaining deception, the gnawing discomfort of dishonesty, the potential for guilt and regret, these can take a significant toll on one's inner peace and sense of self-worth. True power lies not in manipulation, but in authenticity and integrity. Betrayal, by its very nature, undermines these fundamental principles. The ripple effects of betrayal extend beyond the immediate relationship. Witnessing such an act can sow seeds of distrust and cynicism within a wider community, eroding the very fabric of social connection. The consequences can be a subtle but pervasive undermining of faith in human nature. Ultimately, the conclusion we draw is not one of vengeful triumph, but of quiet understanding. Betrayal is a destructive force, leaving a trail of consequences that touch all involved. While the betrayed may find strength and growth in the aftermath, the betrayer is left to navigate a world subtly altered by their actions, often facing a quiet reckoning of their own making. A world where trust is harder to earn and genuine connection becomes increasingly elusive. The most profound consequence, perhaps, is the irreversible change in the relationship dynamic. The innocent trust, once freely given, is shattered. Even if forgiveness is offered, the memory of betrayal lingers, casting a shadow over future interactions. The relationship, in its original form, is lost forever. The journey from betrayal to healing is a testament to human resilience, but it is a journey that no one should be forced to undertake lightly. The consequences of breaking trust are far-reaching and enduring, serving as a powerful cautionary tale for those who might contemplate such a path. Let the quiet strength of the one who rose from the ashes be the final word. Their transformation is not an act of revenge, but an affirmation of the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. And in their quiet triumph lies the most potent and undeniable consequence for those who sought to diminish them. The light of their spirit, though dimmed for a time, ultimately burns brighter, casting a stark shadow on the darkness of betrayal. The cycle of pain ends not with retaliation, but with the quiet assertion of self-worth and the resolute march forward. The consequences for the betrayer are etched not in dramatic pronouncements, but in the undeniable reality of what they have lost: a genuine connection, a foundation of trust, and the opportunity to share in the strength and resilience they inadvertently helped to forge. In the final analysis, betrayal is a self-inflicted wound as much as it is an act of aggression against another. The consequences, though they may manifest differently for each party, are a stark reminder of the profound interconnectedness of human relationships and the enduring importance of trust and integrity. The quiet strength that emerges from the ashes serves as the ultimate testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, and a silent but powerful consequence for those who choose the path of deceit.